it sort of
over there?
it creeps up, yes.
It just comes right over the stone.
Yeah, I think
Just to the left of the hill. Right about there. So this might have been like the center, as where we're standing here, of some sort of ceremony.
In the morning,
if I would come here and just kind of, if it wasn't like a monument, I'd sit on one of these rocks and I'd just watch the sunrise. It would cleanse your mind.
July 3rd, 2018, Overland Park, Kansas. Two workers outside Sunrise Point Elementary School in Overland Park were shot and wounded.
A neighborhood on lockdown in a suburb of Kansas City. People told to lock your doors. Heavily armed police tracking down a gunman who shot two co-workers and then carjacked an SUV. Police say it all began with an argument at a construction site at a school that spiraled out of control, and tonight one of those workers is dead.
The name Sunrise Point in Overland Park connects back to the mass shooting in Parkland.
Rumors going on in school that there would be a fake shooting to see how the students would prepare for it and stuff like that.
Remember, I showed you police units from the city of Sunrise on scene at that event. Also remember, the alleged Parkland shooter purchased his assault rifle from Sunrise Tactical.
The weapon was purchased here. Mr. Cruz walked in, selected an AR-15 directly off the rack.
The word tactical means actions carefully planned to gain a specific military end. Another word for tactical is strategic, which means to carefully design and execute plans in order to achieve a goal. This lets you know that the mass shooting in Parkland was designed to achieve a specific aim or goal. This goal of gun control could be seen in the words of Barack Obama, which were then echoed by the students of Parkland.
Congress should restore a ban on military-style assault weapons and a 10-round limit for magazines. It's time for Congress to require a universal background check for anyone trying to buy a gun.
The people demand a law banning the sale of assault weapons. The people demand we prohibit the sale of high-capacity magazines. The people demand universal background check.
The sunrise is also called the horizon, which refers to the sun rising in the distance, or Horus rising. Horus being the sun god of Egypt. Sunrise also connects to Barack Obama, since his symbol was the rising sun. This shooting occurred in Overland Park, again connecting back to the Parkland shooting. It should be noted that the original history of parks dates back to the first parks, which were English deer parks, or land set aside for hunting by royalty and the aristocracy in medieval times. These mass shootings of American citizens in public places, soft targets that are being orchestrated by an oligarchy intent on forcing the public to acquiesce to their attempt at gun control and eventually confiscation, are the equivalent of the aristocracy hunting deer for sport. The murder of rapper XXXTentacion in Deerfield Beach recently only reinforces this connection. However, I won't go any deeper into that event in this video.
Well, Cynthia, we're learning a little bit more about the workers who were here this morning, what exactly they were doing on the playground here at Sunrise Point Elementary. It turns out that they were putting down some artificial turf this morning when it all unfolded. And while the crime scene tape is still up at this scene, we're learning there could be a fourth scene now that police are investigating. So let's take a look at that map again of the locations. It started here at the elementary school. From there, the suspect who shot two co-workers, he drove to 151st and Metcalf, where there was an attempted carjacking. Some shots were fired. No one was injured there. Then he went to 148th and Metcalf, where he did steal a black Denali.
The shooter allegedly carjacked a vehicle on Metcalf. The word Metcalf comes from the combination of the word meat, meaning food or meat, plus calf, meaning a calf, with the translation of the name being a calf to be fattened for eating at the end of summer. A fatted calf is a metaphor or symbol of a festive celebration and rejoicing for someone's long-awaited return. It derives from the parable of the prodigal son in the New Testament. In biblical times, people would often keep at least one piece of livestock that was fed a special diet to fatten it up, thus making it more flavorsome when prepared as a meal. Slaughtering this livestock was to be done on rare and special occasions. Thus, when the prodigal son returns, the father kills the fatted calf to show that the celebration is out of the ordinary. Prodigal means reckless, wasteful, licentious, corrupt, immoral, and sinful. Therefore, in this instance, the killing of the fatted calf is related to the return of the sinful, immoral, corrupt one. Remember when Obama graced the cover of Newsweek with the headline that read, "The Second Coming"? The car that the shooter jacked was described as a black 2011 Denali.
There. Then he went to 148th and Metcalf, where he did steal a black Denali. And this is where this case takes a really strange turn. We just learned from police that the man actually took the black Denali to the carjacking victim's house.
About 3 hours after the shooting, investigators are finally catching up with the suspect, pinning him to the ground, guns drawn, taking him into custody after he parked the stolen SUV outside the home of the person who owns the car, baffling even investigators.
It's weird, I'll give you that. It is weird.
The fact that he returned the Denali back to its home shows that this was a staged event, because this act was purposefully done to be symbolic of the prodigal son returning home. Denali is the highest mountain peak in North America. This mountain was known as the Great One to the indigenous people of Alaska. It was given the name Mount McKinley in 1896, and then it was renamed Denali in 2015 by Barack Obama.
It is no longer Mount McKinley. The 20,000-foot peak in Alaska, the tallest spot on the continent, is returning to its old name, Denali. It means the Great One in the language of Native Alaskans, who say the name change means respect.
Well, it's amazing to me that the president would rename the nation's tallest mountain after a GMC truck. That's pretty remarkable in itself. Just kidding, of course, Steve, but the outrage is twofold. One, that the president thinks he can do whatever he wants, even renaming a national landmark. I'm wondering what's next, the renaming of the Washington Monument to the Obama Monument.
Therefore, the color black mentioned in this news story is meant to symbolize the human group having dark-colored skin or a man of African ancestry. The name Denali means the tall one, the high one, or the great one. This also connects back to Barack Obama, who gave his acceptance speech at Mile High Stadium. The reference to the great one or the high one is a reference to the Most High. However, since this event is not praising the true God, it is actually a reference to Lucifer, in the description of him found in Isaiah 14:12-15. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. In this sense, the return of the prodigal son, the return of this great one, represents the return of one who will be worshipped as the Most High, but in fact, he is a false god. This person is none other than Lucifer, or Satan himself, indwelling a human body as the Antichrist. As an interesting side note, the mountain that is now known as Denali, formerly as Mount McKinley, got that namesake after William McKinley, the 25th President of the United States. McKinley was assassinated by anarchists at the Temple of Music in September 1901, 6 months into his second term. The Temple of Music also connects Denali, or Mount McKinley, back to Satan, who is known as the Angel of Music. This can be found in Ezekiel chapter 28, verse 13. William McKinley, who was a Freemason, was killed by anarchists. Another word for an anarchist is a rebellious person, a renegade, or revolutionary, which connects back to the patriots in the American Revolution. As president, Barack Obama's code name was Renegade, and another word for renegade is apostate, which is where the term to apostatize comes from. To apostatize means to renounce one's religious beliefs. We are warned by the scriptures that in the last days, many will do just that. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly, that in the latter times some shall depart from the faith, giving heed to seducing spirits and doctrines of devils. 1 Timothy 4:1. We are also told that this falling away will precede the rise of the son of perdition. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. 2 Thessalonians 2:3. I want you to recall that the school where this shooting occurred is called the Sunrise Point Patriots.
It turns out that they were putting down some artificial turf this morning when it all unfolded.
Therefore, the message contained in this orchestrated event is clear. This event was meant to signify the point or the moment of time in which the Great One, the High One, the Prodigal Son, the sinful, immoral, corrupt one, the rebellious one, the son of perdition, returns. This is about Obama's return to the world stage as the Antichrist. Again, Obama's symbol is the rising sun, which represents Horus rising. Horus, the sun god, was usually depicted as a falcon-headed man with the sun above his head. This connects back to Super Bowl 51, where the Atlanta Falcons lost to the New England Patriots. Super Bowl 51 was held at NRG Stadium. The name NRG referred to the spiritual energy, or inner G, meaning God within, which in the religion of theosophy, as described in the golden precepts of esotericism, this so-called energy will allow man to evolve into his divine self, the God within, which will allow man to walk the earth as God. This is the same exact thing the serpent said to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. Genesis 3:5. Police eventually identified the suspect in this event as 32-year-old Anthony David Grable of Kansas City. Remember, Kansas City's baseball team is called the Royals. Why is this significant? As we have discussed in earlier videos, Superman is from Kansas and was depicted wearing a Royals t-shirt. Barack Obama has also equated himself with Superman, which is a representation of a God-man, or simply the false savior of the world, the Antichrist.
Contrary to the rumors that you've heard, I was not born in a manger. I was actually born on Krypton and sent here by my father, Jor-El, to save the planet Earth.
The name Superman comes from the German Ubermensch, and it means superhuman or an overman. Remember, the shooting occurred in Overland Park. Again, this is the concept of turning man into a god. Interestingly enough, Overland has a sister city which is located in Germany called Bietigheim, and from 1928 to 1945, a branch of the Nazi Party inhabited that city. Also, one last thing that connects this event to Barack Obama. Notice that the story occurred in Kansas. However, the reporter, Alex Perez, is reporting from Chicago, Illinois, Barack Obama's hometown.
Tom, the carjacking victim actually left his cell phone inside the car, and that's how police were able to track down the suspect, who's now been charged with premeditated first-degree murder. Tom?
It should be noted that the longest lunar eclipse, or blood red moon, will occur on July 27th, 2018. Interestingly enough, North America will be engulfed in darkness when this event takes place. Remember the solar eclipse of August 21st, 2017, which went from Salem, Oregon to Charleston, South Carolina, and divided this nation in half. These events are signs from Yah of his coming judgment on this nation and the world as a whole. Before I go, I would like to give you guys a brief update on the situation I explained to you earlier. Remember I told you that after my video about the Parkland shooting at Stoneman Douglas was removed from YouTube, I had been contacted by several individuals who live in Parkland, a person who was part of the command staff on one of the law enforcement agencies who responded to the Parkland shooting, and other powerful, influential, and politically connected, wealthy individuals. Each time I have been contacted, the interactions have always been centered around esoteric themes that include numerology, the law of fives, and other Freemasonic symbolism. I am sure that these people are practitioners of witchcraft who have evil intent for me. Since these things started a few months ago, the attempts at contacting me have not ceased. I will tell you that in addition to the female police major that contacted me earlier, I have also been contacted by a police captain that works for the same law enforcement organization. I should add that these officers of the law never identified themselves as such when they contacted me. However, their identities were revealed to me through Yah's Spirit, which guides my research. Secondly, I was also contacted by an attorney who lives in Parkland. This attorney actually wrote an article for a newspaper with the name Sun in its name. In that article, he described his personal experience during the mass shooting at Stoneman Douglas. Were these contacts with me merely coincidence? I think not. Even still, this is not the most interesting contact I have experienced. The most elucidating and at the same time disturbing contact I have had is the one that occurred most recently. A woman who works for a large firm in South Florida recently contacted me, and one of the owners of the firm she works for is a billionaire developer. Why is this important? Here is a picture of this billionaire standing with Barack Obama. I have detailed every interaction with each of these individuals that have contacted me in this manner, including names, identifying pictures, dates, addresses, emails, and phone numbers. If for any reason something ever happens to me, this information will be made public. That being said, when I produce these videos revealing the hidden evil embedded in these events, I am only speaking the truth given me by the Most High to be revealed to all of you. If this coven of people are attempting to carry out some wicked, evil scheme against me because of my work, then I say, the Lord rebuke them in Yahushua's name. I surrender my life to the Most High, Yah, and He shall protect me. Amen. Shalom.